All right, gang, today we are looking at scientific notation, something that you have probably learned about in multiple math classes throughout your time here in school. Basically, scientific notation is a way to write really big numbers or really small numbers in a much more manageable way. Here are the steps of writing in scientific notation. Number one is you put the decimal behind the first non-zero. You multiply it by 10, and the number of times you move the decimal point is the exponent. The exponent, if the number is large, and we are defining large as any number bigger than 1, the exponent will be positive. And if the number is small, defining small as any number less than 1, the exponent is negative. So let's look at an example here. So we got 12,457.656. So what we would do is we would move the decimal point behind the first non-zero and then count the number of times we did that. So we would move the decimal point behind the first non-zero, which is the 1, and it takes 4 movements to get there. And since the number is bigger than 1, right, 12,000 is bigger than 1, it is a positive 4 exponent. In the second example, we would move it behind the 6. We would move it 5 times, and since the number is small, less than 1, it is a negative 5. Here we'd move it behind the 1, we'd move it 2 times, so it would be 1.2890 times 10 to the positive 2, since it's bigger than 1. And our last example is a number smaller than 1, so our exponent will be negative 7. So that's how we would write a number in scientific notation. Now, if you can do that, you can also go in the other direction. So here we have numbers in scientific notation. This is a positive 4, so I know I'm moving the decimal point 4 times. And since it's positive, I know I need to move it so that my number gets bigger, which means I'm going to move it to the right 4 times, filling in zeros once I go past those numbers. Next, I move it 2 times. Since it's a positive, I'm going to move it to the right to make it a big number. And the next example, it's a negative 5, so I know I'm going to move it 5 times. But since it's negative, I know that I need to make my number smaller. So I'm going to move it 5 times to the left, filling in zeros after I move past the 8. And the last example, go ahead and pause the video and see if you can do this one. Since it's a negative 3, we move it 3 spots to the right to make it small, and that's what we get. Now, the purpose of learning scientific notation now is for significant digits, because sometimes you will get a measurement or you will get a calculation, and it is not possible to write your answer to the correct number of significant digits unless you use scientific notation. Here's an example. Let's say this is an answer you get after doing calculations and you need to write it to 3 significant digits. Well, this number has 8. So if we take off the 4 and the 2 and the 5, but we leave the decimal point, well, counting all those, this would be 6 significant digits. If we get rid of the decimal point, then this only becomes 2 significant digits. So it's not possible to write this number to 3 significant digits without using scientific notation. And so writing the number in scientific notation allows us to include the zeros that we want to be counted, and this is how we can write something to 3 significant digits. You can go ahead and pause the video here and work through some of these examples. These are just some of the rules. Actually, I'm just going to go quickly through this. So if you want to try these, you can. I just want to get to the examples on the last slide. And if you did it, here's where your answers would be in terms of writing them to the correct number of significant digits. So this is what I want to do. So here you have 4 examples And go ahead and write these numbers in scientific notation to the correct number of significant digits. Okay, let's look at our answers. This is what you should have received. And let's try going the other way now. We haven't practiced that just yet. So go ahead and pause the video and try writing these numbers that are in scientific notation and write them in their expanded form. All right, let's look at the answers. And there you go. Okay, so again, scientific notation, it's really only important so that we can write our numbers to the correct number of significant digits, which is also important for the test. And that's it.